Welcome everyone to Clockwork Highlanders Tremorween, as I'm just dubbing it affectionately. So yeah, that's why I basically made the comment of this when I picked up the fifth movie, that I'm going to be doing the Tremors movies. One review every day leading up to Halloween. So yeah, let's talk about the first movie. Now the first movie, if I recall, came out in, it was in 1993 or 1996. Just give me 1 second to get the IMDb page up on here, just because I want to have some references, though I can remember most of the names of the main leads in the movie. Nope. Tremors. There we go. Tremors. Came out in, I think it was like 1993? Wow, 1990. Wow, it's that old. Holy crap, that's 25 years old. I want a 25-year anniversary edition of the Tremors now. But came out in, 1990. Now, I don't remember, I was only one. No, I wasn't even one when it came out. Actually, what was the month there we go. What was the month it came out? 1 second. What was the release date? It was... It was January of 1990. I was barely 3 months old at that point. So... as you can plainly guess, I didn't actually see this when it came out in the theaters. I saw it on TV like 10 years down the road. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's like, what is it, giant monsters? Oh, and then, looking back on it as an older, when I got to be like, 15, 16, I'm like, no, I really dig these movies. And now I'm almost 20, I'm 25 now. I'm like, going on 26. And I look at these now, I'm like, these are really underappreciated movies. You look at these, what's the story of Tremors? It's a monster movie. The giant underground carnivorous reptilian worm creatures with snake tentacles for tongues, more or less. They are attacking this small town in Nevada called Perfection. And wow, that was the budget? Amazing. I'm looking at this, and I'll get to a little bit of some of what's also awesome about what I'm looking at in just a moment. But yeah, so... it's a basic premise, but it's so fun in how campy it is, because you look at it and it's a B movie. It's a modern B movie. That's what it is. And they work with that. It's funny. It's actually got some scares in it too. It's not just, even though there's a lot of that in there. There's scenes where like the scene where the doctor gets pulled down on the dirt. And the woman gets the car dragged under with her into the ground. In the right context, that's actually a decently well-paced, decently scary scene. Because you don't see the creatures for the first, third of the movie. You see maybe the tentacles, more or less. And then when we see, we're like, oh, shit knockers. That's not quite what I was expecting. And then, the fun goes forth with that. And what I like about this movie, it's a type of creature movie, and I'm a big creature feature fan. I love creature features to death. Old school ones, new ones. Anything where we don't understand what this monster is, or it's a monster from myth or lore, kind of like Bigfoot or like Nessie or something like that. I'm okay with movies that are based off crypto creatures too. But I love creature features that deal with these kind of things. Like, this monster, we're learning more about it. And that's what the Tremors is. We learn about the graboids throughout the entire movie. We keep learning new things. Like, we keep learning how to trick them with sound. Or we find out they're getting smarter. It's just a fun all-around movie, in my opinion. Now, it's dated. It is. It's, there's some of the green screen is quite obvious. Like when the graboid bursts into the basement, it's very obvious that when they're shooting at him, they're shooting more or less at a green screen. Because I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a little bad. That's a little much. But what I can respect about this movie is because it's from the 90s, is that they used a shit ton of practical effects. When you see a monster on screen, that monster is on screen, with the exception of maybe one or two shots. Overall, though, that monster is there. That is a full animatronic puppet that they're using. The little tentacles, puppets, or a prop. Especially when they're ripped off, they're props. The gore, it's all practical. I love that. I just want a giant graboid that I can put in my yard and say, yep, this is my trophy. I'm gonna Burt Gummer that up. And that leads into the characters. You got the three main characters. Well, three. There's our two leads, which are Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. Who's Valentine? Who's Kevin Bacon's Valentine Key and Earl Bassett. They're just handymen who live in Perfection, Nevada. And they're just sick and tired of being there, so they finally, opt to get out. And then, as Earl puts it, he's like, we picked the wrong goddamn day. But what you like about them is they're just relatable dudes. We see them in the opening shot, and you see Earl sleeping, and Val's just like, Mr. Bassett, this is your wake-up call. Please get off your ass. And then just sees the cows are heading, and he's like, Stampede, Earl, Stampede! You son of a bitch, I was in a stampede once. I'm a little confused, Earl. What's the minimum requirement for a stampede? I mean, is there a minimum requirement? And then there's a running joke with the, rock, paper, scissors, which is brought back in the second one, which tomorrow's the second one. I'll talk about the second one, which might arguably be my favorite of all of these. But no, they're just, they're the everymans, really. And what are you going to do in this scenario? You're going to do the best you can. But that being said, they're not just everymans, they're handyman everymen who, they live in Nevada, so they know how to use a gun, they know how to ride a horse. They're not pussies, thankfully. They're not like, oh my god, like the freaking, what was it, Melvin? Who's Melvin? Oh my god, Melvin, this little fucking Robert Jane, that's his name. Don't get me wrong, Robert Jane's, I'm sure, he plays that character fine. He plays that smarmy little shit fine. And you love it when this little shit actually gets, his comeuppance at points. And then when he shows back up in the series and in the third one, you're glad when he gets comeuppances. Just like they get, anyone who's watching this probably knows the movie I'm talking. Probably has already seen the movie. But if you haven't seen the movie, there are some spoilers in there. I mean, I'm not going to spoil everything per se, but again, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. You're probably watching this review. You've probably seen the movie. So they got to run for a rock because graboids can't go through rock. They can only basically go through loose soil. If they end up killing one actually at one point by causing him to smash in a concrete wall he didn't see coming until too late. Just like nah, son of a bitch, knocked Stone Cold. Stone Cold knocked out my ass. Or out cold my ass. He's dead. We killed it, yeah! But they can't go through rocks, so to get to rocks, like little Melvin's just like, I can do it, man. And then Bert just hands him the gun, say, use this to make him think twice. Say, Bert, you asshole, there's no bullets in this gun. Got you moving, didn't it? And that leads to the best character in this entire series, Bert Gummer, played by Michael Gross. Oh my god, Bert Gummer sells this movie, sells this entire franchise, because this franchise more or less got built up around him after, say, after the first movie they realized everyone dug this guy the most. So let's keep bringing him back, because he's the one that's just great. It was him and Reba McEntire who played Bert Gummer and Heather Gummer, his wife, respectively. And they basically, he's an extreme survivalist. She's definitely a survivalist, but not to his level. This is the man who, in later movies, makes a graboid shrieker-proof containment. His house is graboid and shrieker-proof. He's completely paranoid about the government, and the third one goes, eminent domain. People call me paranoid. And of course, it leads to the greatest scene in this entire movie, where they are trying to track down the creature, not knowing it's the graboid on the ground. They get back and they're making noise, and the grunt of the graboids goes all the way up to where they live. It's like, there's giant monsters on the ground, go, go, go! And then they just crashes through their trophy case, and you just hear, Jesus Christ! And then the radio cuts out like, no. And then and they just, what? And then you just see the lay it into this thing. They can't get it, because the small ammunition ain't gonna do shit against it. So they would just keep going. Then he basically goes for the yellow gun, blows its brains out, and just, and then the best line in the movie, broke into the wrong goddamn rec room, didn't you, you asshole? And everyone just, I laugh every time I watch that scene. Oh my god, it's a great scene. And then they build the homemade, that's at least a cute, nice line afterwards, where it's like, what? They build homemade, basically incendiary bombs. And they're trying to lure it in. It's like, what kind of fuse is that? Cannon fuse. Oh, what do you use it for? For my cannon. Oh man, I dig this movie so much. It's funny as hell. There's actually some legitimate kind of scares in there now and then. A couple decent jump scares. Like when I say look for a good jump scare, I look for one that even you might either be seeing coming or you did not see coming. Well, I guess I should define what I mean when you see coming. Not like saying like the Paranormal Activity, which is literally defined by jump scares. I mean something where you just like it's a quiet moment, but you know something's gonna happen. You just don't know when, and then it happens. That's I like those kind of jump scares preferably, or the kind you didn't see coming, like in The Conjuring when that freaking ghost nurse, I think it was, just came out of nowhere. Just like that. I think those are effective jump scares. Those are good jump scares. And this has a few good jump scares. It's got an actual couple moments of decent horror in it. It's got a buttload of practical effects. It's got a great kind of weird mythos to it that gets expanded later on into the series. And the actors are great. Their chemistry is fun. They can tell that these guys are really just having lots of fun on set. Just, probably ad-libbing some of their lines, I'm certain. Michael Gross just gets better and better as movies go on. He's great in this movie as it is, but it was Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon's movie. Particularly Kevin Bacon. He seemed to be the one we actually focused a little bit more on between him and Earl, because he's the one who ends up with the girl. But overall, it is dated to a degree. I mean, this is 1990. Now, the effects hold up amazingly well for 1990, given that they're practical effects. They are amazing effects, even for today's day and age. That's why I marveled earlier when I looked something up. This was estimated on an $11 million budget. And then it made a $48.5 million worldwide. I marvel at these movies these days that have to make like $100 million and use so much CGI and yet they used, and half the time it doesn't look extremely, either looks just passable or good. Some of it's very effective. Like Goosebumps, I actually thought had really good CGI for most of the parts. Some of it was a little iffy, like the blob effect, as I mentioned, was a little iffy. But Slappy was good because he was actually there. I did buy the Abominable Snowman was there. The Mantis one was a giant effect, fair enough. But the werewolf, I did think was there for most of the time. You felt they were interacting with these things. But then you look at something like this movie that was made on an estimated $11 million budget. It was made on, let's use Goosebumps as another prime example. That was made on a $55 million budget. This is made on an $11 million budget. But the amount of work and practical, now granted, salaries have changed these days, and inflation and all that. Let's call it what it is. Inflation takes a toll in there. But that being said, $11 million for some of the best practical creature effects I see in movies. I am sorry. What has Hollywood been doing lately where we cannot get a good kind of creature feature like this anymore? Add inflation, but you could still obviously make this for, which is, when I get to Tremors 5, that's where some complaints are really going to come in. Let's be clear, I enjoyed every movie in this series, Tremor 5 included. But I will have other things to say on that note when I get to Tremor 5 Bloodlines. But yeah, where are we in a media age where we can make a decent CGI movie for $55 million, but we can't make maybe an effective practical effects creature movie for just $20 million? Now, granted, again, inflation for actor salaries too. I think the highest, because I think they have to, the one who's, I think they, I can't be certain on this. I know the one who's on the, they usually give the one who's got the highest salary usually out of the actors, out of the cast, is usually the one they marquee on the posters usually. That's why Tom Hanks is the highest paid actor in that movie. Let's not kid ourselves in British Spies. Vin Diesel's the lead, so he's probably the highest paid actor in Last Witch Hunter. If it's the same here, Kevin Bacon might have been the highest paid actor. Maybe Fred Ward, Michael Gross, possibly. But again, $11 million, that's not a huge salary to be getting. So up it for $20-25 million, you could get a... Here's the thing. If you were to release Tremors today, it was never released whatsoever, and people see this and see a monster movie, I guarantee you it would probably still make... Well, it's a slightly different day and age, but... On $11 million, it probably would still make the $48 million, give or take. Especially with today's inflation rates, it would still make the $48 million, no problem, I think. Or maybe like $30 million, but it would still make money off an $11 million budget. So it just baffles my mind that we live in a day and age where maybe the most minimal production budget is maybe like $40 to $30 million, except for these really low key movies. Like The Visit was made on like a $5 million budget. I think Perfect Guy was made on $18 million budget. So those do exist, but I don't. For a fan of the horror creature genre myself, how we can't get like these kind of movies in theaters anymore. It bugs me. It really does, because I think there is a real good hankering for creature features. Why do you think Jurassic World is the highest grossing movie of this year at $1.6 billion? Because, well, first off, there's a lot of factors go into there. I have a video on that, but which you can find in the playlist section under random stuff if you're so interested to watch it. But dinosaurs, we want to see dinosaurs on screen. Jurassic Park, we haven't seen anything Jurassic Park in a while. But creatures, monsters, we like seeing that stuff. Pacific Rim didn't do as well as it should have, but it made bank overseas enough to make profit because we like creatures. Godzilla was pretty profitable because we like creatures. Creatures and monsters are fun. You can do them. This movie proves you can do them on a reasonable budget. So that's my long-winded rant on the Tremors budget and my befuddled. I just combined befuddled and baffled. So befuddled or befaffled. There we go. On my baffled view on creature features today. So thanks for watching. This is the first video in Tremors Ween. There will be more videos to come. Just stay tuned. Tomorrow will actually be after Tremors 2 Aftershock. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, actually, for another video or two in just a moment.